This is one of the most beautiful birds in the world, with a massive colorful beak that looks like an Aztec mask. This is one of the most beautiful birds in the world, with a massive colorful beak that looks like an Aztec mask. But it's also one of the dumbest birds because this bird can't even fly. And this bird has managed to survive for millions of years despite its many enemies. Welcome back, nature lovers. It's me. Today we will meet the most beautiful bird with the biggest brainless beak. Let's go to the jungles of South America. We'll see a small flock of yellow-billed toucans feasting on some fruit. Toucans are famous for their huge beaks. This is not just used for eating fruit, but also for attracting a mate and scaring off predators. The size of the beak is related to the size of the bird. Since the yellow-billed toucan is a medium-sized bird, it has a medium-sized beak. But sometimes they are so big that they need both hands to hold them up. There are 40 different species of toucans, and all of them live in the rainforests of Central and South America. They are mostly green or black with large colorful beaks. But there is one toucan that doesn't look like the others. If you didn't notice, this toucan is not green or black. It's brown. And if you look closely, you'll see that its beak is also brown, not colorful at all. This is the yellow-billed toucan. Its beak is huge, bulky, and very heavy, but it has no distinct colors. Scientists think that the yellow-billed toucan was once green like the other toucans, but then it lost its vibrant colors due to a genetic mutation. However, unlike its relatives, the yellow-billed toucan is much smaller. It's also the only toucan that lives in flocks, sometimes numbering more than 100 individuals. Yellow-billed toucans are found from southern Mexico to northern Argentina. They inhabit lowland rainforests near water. The yellow-billed toucan is a stocky bird with short legs and a long neck. It measures 37.5 to 42 centimeters long and weighs 650 to 900 grams. Females are usually larger than males. It has broad wings, a short tail, and a large head. Its eyes are dark brown and its feet are gray. The beak is large, robust and flattened from side to side. It's about 13 centimeters long, which is almost a third of the bird's total length. The upper part of the beak is flat and concave. Its nostrils are hidden in a notch between the base of the beak and the frontal feathers. The beak is attached to the skull by a single strong bone, so it cannot move it. Like other toucans, it uses its beak for catching prey. It cracks open hard nuts and digs out the soft pulp inside. It tears open the skin of fruits and slurps up the sweet juice inside. It feeds mainly on figs, wild grapes, cherries, and mango. The yellow-billed toucan is not fussy and will eat anything that grows on trees. It also eats lizards, frogs, snakes, eggs, and small mammals. Sometimes it robs other birds of their food. Toucans have a particular way of getting their food. Instead of searching for food in the forest, they wait for ripe fruits to fall into the forest clearings. Then they quickly rush to the fallen treasure and feast on their prize. Even though they can't fly, they are very fast on the ground. The yellow-billed toucan makes a strange clicking sound. During courtship, males make a clicking noise by rapidly opening and closing their beaks. This sound can be heard half a kilometer away. Males also use their beaks to make a knocking sound to attract a female. If the female accepts the offer, the two birds rub against each other, after which the male fertilizes the female. The female lays 1 or 2 white eggs, which she incubates for 17 days. Both parents take care of the chicks and teach them to fly when they are 8 weeks old. Chicks are able to leave the nest, but they still need parental care for another 8 weeks. Yellow-billed toucans are polygamous, meaning a male can have several females at once. The yellow-billed toucan is threatened by jaguars, harpy eagles, anacondas, foxes, and owls. These predators hunt adult toucans, while toucan eggs and chicks are often eaten by green iguanas and other forest dwellers. One day, a young male yellow-billed toucan was hanging out with his friends in the morning. Suddenly, a huge harpy eagle swooped down from the sky and grabbed one of the toucans in its sharp claws. The rest of the birds panicked and scattered in different directions. The eagle soared high above the trees with its prey in its claws. It wanted to feed its hungry chicks. The young toucan struggled with all his might, flapping his wings and desperately pecking at the eagle with his beak. The eagle flew closer to its nest, thinking the dinner was already secured. But at that moment, a jaguar jumped out from behind the tree and grabbed the eagle and its dinner. The eagle screeched loudly and tried to free itself from the clutches of the beast, but the jaguar held on tight and dragged the eagle into the bushes. The toucan fell to the ground, shaking its wings, trying to recover from the fright. He understood perfectly well that both the eagle and the jaguar were dangerous predators who would have no trouble eating him. But, luckily, they were fighting each other, which saved the life of the toucan. When the animals dispersed, he immediately ran to hide in the thick foliage. The toucan was very frightened, but he had no other choice but to stay in the same forest where the dangerous animals lived. After all, this was his home, and besides, there were no other forests nearby. The toucan could only hope that nothing like this would ever happen again, but life in the wild is unpredictable. And one day the toucan ended up in terrible danger again. One day, our hero decided to join a flock of yellow-billed toucans. Now there were more than 100 birds in the group. There were also females ready for mating. The young male was very happy. Finally, he had the opportunity to find a mate. The male began to woo the female, trying to please her as best he could. But suddenly, a stranger appeared in the flock. It was an older, larger male with a brighter beak. He chose the same female and began to court her. The young male got angry. He did not want to give up. He challenged the rival to a fight, and they started a terrible battle. The birds beat each other with their beaks, trying to inflict maximum damage. The battle was fierce, but the young male was no match for his opponent. Moreover, during the fight, he realized that the stranger was not just any male, but the leader of the flock. The leader beat the young male until he submitted. Now he had no chance to win the female. The leader took her away from him and fertilized her. The young male watched them leave and sighed. He was completely upset. He knew he wasn't good enough to lead the flock or protect his chosen female. So he decided to leave and find his own flock. Now, the young male had to find a new flock of yellow-billed toucans. His beak hurt from the recent battle, and his heart ached from unrequited love. He walked along the jungle paths, hoping to find new friends. Suddenly, the toucan heard the loud squawking of parrots. A flock of scarlet macaws was sitting on a tree, screaming loudly and having fun. They invited the toucan to join them, and he happily agreed. But after a few minutes, the toucan realized that the macaws were terribly annoying. They kept teasing him for his small size and dull beak. The toucan sighed and decided to leave. Then he met a pair of blue and white pigeons. They invited him to go with them, and the toucan gladly accepted the invitation. But soon he realized that the pigeons were too slow and timid. He couldn't stand it anymore, so he went on alone. The sun began to set, and the toucan had still not found a new flock. He was tired and wanted to fly up to a tree and spend the night with a bunch of other birds. But then he saw a clearing in the jungle. In the center of the clearing stood a tall tree with a hollow in its trunk. The toucan liked the tree, and he climbed up it. It was so comfortable in the hollow that the toucan decided to settle here. And so the toucan spent his first night in the wild, all alone in the middle of the jungle. From his hiding place, he saw how pairs of nocturnal birds fly past, heading to their nests. The toucan felt lonely. For the first time in his life, he had no one to protect him. But the morning came, and with it, the toucan's problems were forgotten. He made friends with the tree, frogs living in the tree. And when the sun rose higher, he saw a family of spider monkeys playing in the branches. The toucan made friends with them, and they played together all day. The toucan was so carried away by the games that he forgot about his previous failures. He was very happy for now. He could still hear the screams of the macaws and remember the annoying questions about his small size and beak color. But now the toucan didn't care. He had new friends who didn't tease him. The toucan spent several months playing with the spider, monkeys, and sleeping in the hollows of trees. But one day he felt lonely again. He missed his kind, and then he heard a familiar clicking sound. A flock of yellow-billed toucans was approaching. The toucan was so happy. He rushed to greet them, and they welcomed him back. The leader of the flock was the older male whom the toucan had fought before. Now he was a little calmer and understood that he didn't need to prove anything. Life in the flock went on as before. The toucan enjoyed every moment. And now we have a question for you. Do you like this bird? Tell us about it in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe. See you later.